misfits and mystics is what's coming through. So you're definitely going to resonate with those like labels, right? I'm also sensing some kind of return, whether this is of someone or something, maybe even something within yourself, because it feels like it's going to be mood enhancing. But I think that there's been a clearing to bring this through, whatever this is that's coming in, okay? So let's see, mystics and misfits, which means that you've definitely felt maybe the odd one out, or you're not someone who conforms, okay? All right. We have got some interesting cards to come out. So there's definitely an internal change taking place here. You've been feeling, it almost feels like you feel like there's been a lack of growth, and it's made you feel really, like this emptiness inside. When I said mood enhancing, it's been the opposite of that. It's been really depleting. It's felt depleting so far because you're going through an internal change. There's an internal shift taking place. So while it feels like there's been a lack of growth, I'm sensing that this might be what you're feeling in somebody else. Like somebody else is having a lack of growth because you haven't seen like proof of their growth, and now it's making you feel kind of maybe empty, maybe just kind of lacking hope. That's what's creating this internal change. But there is better times ahead with the Six of Swords. It specifically says that better times ahead. So you're sailing forwards. Whatever's happening, you're sailing forwards, and you're going towards this transition that's taking place. This is what I mean by you're creating that space. It might feel like a void right now, but it's actually creating the space to come, welcoming what needs to come in. You're addressing your emotions. You're being asked to address your emotions. Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck as well. It says decisive moment. So you might be spending a lot of time maybe by yourself, or really handling yourself, okay? And I think this is teaching you how to do that better. For one, celebrating union. Maybe this has been on your mind as well, something about this, and I think maybe that's why you feel like maybe you should have been there by now, and that's why you're feeling that lack of growth, hollow feeling, like, are you doing the right thing? Is the right thing happening? But you're not seeing there's so much internal change taking place that you're literally being prepared for where you're about to go, okay? There's the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck as well. So definitely your emotional landscape is truly shifting right now, okay? Yeah, pre-manifest. You're not seeing that, you're not seeing the manifestation, if you want to call it that, come through, what you are truly in divine alignment with, to come through and meet you right now. That the feeling that feels like, oh my God, like the gift, the miracle, whatever, that makes you feel like renewed faith. You're not feeling that yet because you're literally being prepared for it, right? You haven't fully been prepared for it, what wants to come through right now. Yeah, there's been a lack of direction. And that's why I think you've been feeling that hollow feeling, because you're kind of asking yourself, where am I going, what am I doing? It's one of those moments, right? Got the Queen of Wands here. That's really interesting because she's come out with the Death card in reverse. So you're definitely having an internal shift, but as a result, you're really going to get to know who you are, your worth. This is an internal glow up. Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck as well. This is an internal glow up. I don't think you realise this is how you're really finding your light, your fire within. You're seeing what is worthwhile fighting for. That's come out with that Six of Swords as well. So definitely better times ahead. This is actually helping you realise what you were trying so hard for, but it wasn't in your path, that divine alignment with your manifestation, right? You're realizing what you truly do want, because you're realizing who you truly are within, what your light is, what lights your heart up, right? Truly, this fire of your soul is coming out, and you're understanding what is worth your energy, what is worth you investing yourself into, okay? The sun is up, I can see that. Justice. Oh, fairness and balance, it says. Beautiful. Yeah, so actually what's happening here is, for everything that you felt, just internal anguish, it's being set right now. Whatever it is, if there's any karmic debt that you've had to pay off, is coming. That's what's happening. It's coming towards its end, especially with this sun, I can see. And you stepping into that Queen of Wands, there's balance coming in. If anything that has kind of felt off for you, you're going to be feeling the balance coming in for you as well. The karmic wheel is being set right. Yeah, mental clarity, the moon in reverse. So that confusion, that being stuck in the subconscious, there's too much going on and you're not understanding, you're not seeing passive veils of illusion. You are going to be seeing passive veils of illusion, truly. That's beautiful. This is like a major turning point for you, because that's come out with the Four of Wands, celebration. And I think the internal union is what's coming through heavy as well. Definitely with this sun, radiant energy. When I say you're finding this sun within you, that glowing light, the embers, my gosh, that's coming with that mental clarity, and you're going to be able to celebrate. You're going to be prepared to find that foundation within you. And I can see that you're going to be aligning with the right people as well. Okay. I'm intrigued because that other message, too many cards there, okay? That other message has come through as well, though, about you feel like this might be someone you're connected to. So, let's see. I think that if that's what this is this energy of bringing the energy back to you and finding your direction, redirecting back to your center. What is your light guiding you towards? Not another person. I mean, what's your happiness? What makes you full of joy? Right? Remember that. Start to remember that. And even if it starts truly within, romancing yourself, you know, recognizing yourself in the mirror and being happy to see what that is. Not because society tells you should look like this or be like this or whatever. Because of the heart that you have within you and the soul that is radiant, okay? Page of Coins, laying a foundation. So you think there's a lack of growth. This is literally going from lack of growth to laying a foundation. You're laying the foundation for what it is that's coming in to be secure. So everything that's within you right now that feels like internal change, a shift that's taking place, the emotional upheaval, the hollow feeling, the emptiness, it's creating space. You're being shown what's still there that needs to be healed through, released, so you can really welcome in what is being prepared for you. Laying down your burden soon enough. You gotta learn to have faith. You gotta learn to have faith that actually what's ahead for you, sometimes it is unknown, and that can be scary, but it also leaves room for some of the most beautiful things to take place, for the divine unfold to come through, for those miracles to come through, instead of you trying to control every little part of the outcome. Yeah, yes, stay in your alignment, what you can control, your choices that you're making, your decisions that are within your control to a degree, right? And that all, again, it comes from this internal landscape, how you're allowing yourself to feel about certain things. Okay, so there was some kind of unwelcome change here. And that's probably what it is there. And you've recently felt some kind of something, it feels like, again, I'm feeling that emptiness. It feels like something that's made you feel lacking hope. Maybe you wanted something that was going to lift your spirits, but you've had the opposite. And now you suddenly, it's testing you, whatever this is you're suddenly feeling like empty inside, that void feeling, that lacking direction. Actually, am I doing the right thing? Am I going towards the right direction? Testing you, your faith. Emperor in reverse, excessive control. You want to control every detail. Maybe there's father wounds here as well that are being addressed. That's what's coming through. That masculine energy within you, 100%, is having some kind of upheaval now, where you're learning that it's not just about you and what you desire. It's actually about surrendering to the path that you're here for, because actually your desires specifically are often going to be based off the egoic version of self, you know, those the mechanisms that you develop from a very young age to protect you. This is how I need to be, this is what I need to be doing, whether it's pleasing other people, is it looking a certain way as you grew up, you know, maybe it was I need to be providing, I need to, you know, well, again, the same kind of similar things, like looking a certain way is coming through big for this one, presenting a certain way to others. And it's like this excessive control. You've had this excessive control and there's been a lack of really allowing yourself to surrender. But that's what's shifting. That's why you're having this internal change. So you can really learn how to surrender to divine. Right? And it all comes with confidence. That Queen of Wands, she's confident. She knows how to take a challenge on, headstrong as well. Okay. Four of Swords. So this is that energy of going within, taking some time, whether it's meditation, just contemplation, reflection, sitting in stillness, truly, stillness, silence within. And, you know, that's not always silent. When you're sitting in stillness with yourself, it's not always silence within. If anything, there's stuff coming up, and that's where you recognize that. And this is where you're going to begin to learn what is worth fighting for, that message, what you do want to go after, you know, not this feeling of just everything that's gone and lost or whatever. Actually, what have you still got to come? Again, no longer just sitting reflecting on the past, having faith in the future. And faith in the future comes with actually acknowledging who you have become, what you've been through to this point. You know, a lot of people think that you just forget about the past and move forwards, but you can't, because it's still there. That's your foundation. Those are your roots. So you have to learn how to accept that. First, learn to see what it is, past those veils, the illusion, the self, whatever it is that you've told yourself. You know, sometimes there's repressed memories too, that's coming through. But truly, once you see past that and you allow yourself to accept that, and you face yourself with so much compassion and love, which is, again, a journey in itself, that's when you can truly allow yourself to, you're always moving forwards, but you can allow yourself to move forwards in a more faithful way, in a more holistic kind of way. Yeah, Page of Cups. That's nice. That's where that I think some kind of emotional gesture might be coming your way, truly. I feel like some kind of offer. Ow, I just burnt myself a little bit on the candle. Wow, that's saying something, because that just happened when I said that. Ooh, you felt burnt by someone. They left you in emotional anguish. This is where there's been an injustice, and that justice is being set right. Wow, that was a message in itself. That's interesting. Ace of Cups, but it's in reverse. So it's going to be like, you're going to need to reflect, whatever this is, because you've got more clarity. You're recognizing your radiant energy, and you want to celebrate yourself, and you want to celebrate the truth of what is in your alignment. This is when you're going to need some time to reflect, because something is finally going to come around when you're feeling that energy of fullness within. But it's also going to show you something, the Devil. It says strings attached on this particular card. So that's really interesting. So maybe this is someone who you feel they have a lot of strings attached, and they're going to be honest with you about that. And this is why you're going to need some time to reflect, okay? But also, I don't think this is something that's in their control so much, though. There's one thing when it's like addictions and your own stuff that you need to heal through, but I think this might be some external influence that they're still trying to release, is what's coming through, okay? And this was also going to give you some more mental clarity as well, especially because of what felt like an injustice in the past that left you feeling so empty and lacking and that kind of thing. It's going to make more sense, but also it's going to highlight to you where you might still have some strings attached to certain ways, even patterns within you, not necessarily other people, that needs to still cycle out, okay? Yeah, Hanged Man, resisting surrender. It's in reverse, resisting surrender. That's what I was just talking about, learning how to surrender. So that's confirmation. It's going to come up. Learning how to surrender. End of a chapter. The World. Wow. A balancing, okay, yeah. So the two of, okay, so this is where it's going to be giving you the opportunity now. There's going to be this opportunity to end this chapter, whatever these strings are that are attached, that feel unhealthy, toxic, really just constantly cycling through, and it just doesn't make you feel good. Look at the feelings that are coming through here, right? This is going to be an opportunity to really reflect, hold on, what is it that's stopping me from glowing in my radiant energy? From celebrating what I truly desire, which is 333, which is a beautiful union energy that's coming through within yourself, with the right people around you, with the right person, okay, your person. All right. I'm going to get another one for this Page of Cups as well, actually. I just want to... okay. Someone was very prayed for in the past. They were very prayed for. I think that the way they acted might have felt quite selfish, because they were so zoned in on their own emotions. They weren't looking outside of them. They were so zoned in on themselves. It's almost like a very self-indulgent energy. Maybe they indulge as well, especially with this excessive control. Maybe like they do have that addiction thing that came through. Maybe there was something about that as well. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Seven of Swords in reverse. This is it. Setting the record straight. Someone wants to come and they want to tell you the truth. I don't think you know the full truth here. You are enough. So whatever has made you feel empty and hollow and lacking and like just all these things that were coming through, you think that it's because of whatever was happening here. You're not even seeing the truth. You're enough. You're way more than enough. And you always will be, regardless of anyone outside of you. Your path, your soul, your alignment is enough. You're here existing as who you need to be. And when you're operating from your heart space, even if you've you know that you need to heal that, and maybe you need to right some wrongs, you're seeing things from that space. You're enough, right? But someone made you feel like you were not enough. And they want to set the record straight. Personality clashes. Wow. I think this is two people who both wanted control of a situation. I don't know if you realised that, but you both really wanted to control the situation. And the irony is, it says personality clashes, but I actually think that you were maybe too alike in certain aspects. So I think that there's been really this need to find this balance in your internal masculine and feminine, and your internal yin and yang is what I like to say, right? In order to come back around to be in such a more aligned and stable space where you can actually appreciate what's coming through this time and see it for what it is, and not just be led by your wounds, right? Yeah, under the influence, 3 of Cups and Knight of Swords in reversed. There's definitely external influences here, and I do keep hearing that addiction thing coming through. Out of your depth. I think someone was out their depth, like 100%. They couldn't handle this. And I don't think you would have been able to handle what they were handling, which they weren't handling. It was like that strings attached energy. And they were resisting the surrender to releasing that, to healing through that at that time, okay? 10 of Coins, family legacy. This could have massive to do with family. Maybe there's family influence here. Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, awareness and insight. You're going to be learning some truths. That's where, again, I keep coming back to the mental clarity, that Pisces energy as well with that moon. Keep coming back to that. Capricorn energy as well on the cards. We've got Leo energy. My gosh, and Scorpio energy and Libra. So number one, I don't think you were aware of how much someone's family was influencing them. And maybe they didn't realise as well, but they're becoming aware for sure. They have definitely been. This is where they're learning what's worth fighting for and what is in their alignment versus what isn't. But I also think that this 10 of Coins for the last, and the Ace of Swords, but that's quite beautiful. That's that ultimate abundance, wanting for nothing. And that with the 4 of Wands as well coming through. This can be, remember I was saying, it's like focusing on the future now, not the past. But there is something about the past that still needs to be cleared up. Just as I said that, compass. Number 2222, true north, discovery, life path, seeking the truth. You're someone who seeks the truth. This is why someone knows they need to come in with this truth, set the record straight. You know where you're going. This is going to be about, this has been about a lot of self-exploration, but now it's kind of like the compass is facing in that true north direction where you're truly meant to be, where that divine alignment that keeps coming through. This is why this is a chapter that needs to end. I think someone felt like they had way too much to handle. Almost like they couldn't just surrender because they felt like so much pressure of a lot that they were handling, okay? Internally and also outside. Okay, that's why that internal shift is a big deal, because it's kind of creating the right space. The Broom, number 11, 1-1. That is that energy of removing what's unwanted within and without. Red herring. There has been some false information here. Someone really wants to come through and tell you the truth. Whatever this is. Number 18, misleading information, misguided diversion tactics. Maybe they themselves made it out like they were having a certain lifestyle. Maybe certain people were in their life, certain things were happening. That was a false flag, purposeful direction, throwing you off the scent. I don't think they realised how much this was going to affect you, though, in a way that they just... Really, I think, like I said, you felt burnt. 34. This truth, whatever this truth is that's coming through, it's going to give you such an emotional release. Okay, and this is saying, this is a waterfall, overflowing abundance, okay? But it's also that letting it go, feeling fulfilled, releasing tears of joy. I think once this record is set straight, I don't think you're going to be expecting the truth, what the truth is. But once you do hear it, you're going to feel so much lighter within. Everything. But this had to happen like this because you needed to see where you were still placing your worth externally. Why were you still allowing someone else to validate your worthiness within you? Why were you still feeling hollow and empty when it was somebody else who chose to act in the ways that they did, right? It had to show you, it had to mirror to you. It had to show you your reflection. So now I feel like there's been a certain amount of kind of growth, clearly, where you're ready to sit in stillness and surrender and focus on what you do desire. Yeah, there's something that needs to be closed out here. Again, the Broom here. Rings, 25. closure of this karmic cycle, okay? Especially when it came to that strings attached. I think there's something about that, no longer trying to balance the strings and the whatever's still pulling you down, whether it is family, whatever it is that's really feeling, yes, there's a misalignment, but it's just something that, it just feels like it's pulling you away from your happiness, from your truth, from, you know, that heart's happiness that I was talking about, that, okay? So reaping what you sow as well. I think that's going to be that energy with that tears of joy. You're going to feel, oh my God, after all of this work I'm doing myself, finding my light, internal change, releasing control, understanding surrender, finding my emotional balance and center, that inner union between my yin and yang, recognizing my light and shining it, doing what I need to. You're going to feel like, oh, I wasn't just doing this for nothing, right? There's definitely going to be some kind of need to release these strings, whether it's like past energies, whatever it is. There's definitely something where there's going to be this end of this chapter, even if it's just people who, that under the influence energy, that's the external energies that were just, again, the 5 of Wands, way too much going on, way too many external influences here, and just so many misalignments as well. You're going to feel a reconciliation could be on the cards. This is, I love this card of bouquet. Okay, number 9. Happy, harmony, beauty, creativity. That's giving that Queen of Wands, that is. That beauty, you know. Creativity, definitely. A gift, art, reconciliation, expressive. Someone wants to express. So this is what I meant. A return of someone, it seems. Yeah, reconciliation, expressive appreciation, gratitude, openness, love, warmth. I think this is what it's going to be. You're going to, I think you're more in that space where you're able to open your heart and receive from a loving, warm space without overgiving, without crossing your boundaries, whilst recognizing your boundaries, because whatever happened here taught you your boundaries. And now you can actually appreciate this when it comes through, right? And not allow it to trigger you. And that's going to be a really beautiful, that's where that tears of joy coming out. I think it's going to be a two-way thing, because it's going to feel so much more, again, the moon, my gosh, that psyche has been undergoing some stuff. And it's going to be, it's truly, you're going to be able to find more release, to create more room. Beautiful, Lily, 30. Established, ambition, experience, sexuality, achievement, longevity, mature, career, virtue, development, retired. Yeah, you know how before it was this out of your depth? That's very different now. This is way more kind of grounded, way more stable. You're, like I say, you're in a position where you can handle this new cycle that wants to come through with these rings, right? This new commitment. Yeah. No longer being led by this misleading information, and you know, even in, like I say, internally, whatever you're telling yourself, the stories you're telling yourself, that's another thing that's being cleared through and understood, because you're recognizing how you've been doing that to yourself. Third person, that's such a big deal. I think there's been more than one third person. I really do. Number 3, North Star, again, confirmation. Inner guidance, your direction, your core values. You've had to find your core values during this journey, this self-discovery journey. Now you know where you're going. Yeah, what you're worth fighting for, remember. Inner knowing, your guiding light, your true path. There's clarity coming, there's hope, certainty as well. You haven't had certainty for a long time. That's why you'd be feeling that emptiness within you. And I think it's because, you know, I feel like this is a person who needs to set that record straight. You've been feeling empty because you know that there's something that's still laying on your conscience, or something that you could have corrected a while ago that you didn't. And now it's like, hold on a second. You're finding the confidence. You could be very protective energy as well, you know. There's going to be more certainty, and I think there hasn't been that, which has created this instability, right? Especially with all these external influences. You've not been sure about how to handle the situation. It's felt like you were out of your depth. Yeah, the garden energy, crowds, audience. You know, there's a lot of community, lots of people. You know, 20th of August might have been important, or 20 and 8. Yeah, maybe you are someone who's quite magnetic, and you could attract a lot of potential suitors, options, whatever you want to call it. And I was kind of recognizing, hold on, with that Skype, that's like, something about that had to come to an end, and I don't think that you were even ready for it. Okay. Ooh, the sun. That didn't turn up, so I'm not going to take it, but it was kind of wanting to come out there. That's beautiful. It's very like powerful, positive, yes energy, okay? Heart and mind. that balance, number 31, I always talk about that, right? The compassionate wisdom, emotional intelligence, mindfulness. You're learning how to have a holistic approach on this and understand things holistically, not just your way, not just like so internally. And like, remember I said someone was really like so focused on their own emotional anguish. Now it's time to really intellectually establish more of a alchemized vision of what is taking place, not just within you but outside of you. Intellectual and emotional balance, authentic decision making, wholeness, integration. So I just recorded a whole piece and it just completely like it's vanished. Okay, so I'm going to try and remember what we said. There's definitely the masculine energy came out as well, so I feel like this is a masculine energy who themselves are going through this process of these stepping stones. They're coming, they're finding their way out. That's what this is, number 17. And I think that's to do with that strings attached, okay? So whatever it was that they felt like they were attached to, and I said that it doesn't feel like it's under their control. They're finding a way out. It could be family related again, okay? There's been a lot of cultural and traditional influence. Someone wants to do things differently. They want to create a new tradition, truly, that needs, maybe both of you need a lot of alone time. Okay, again, reflection. Someone's been containing their emotions for a long time, and this is where things are changing, okay? There's a light bulb moment. Someone is developing fine wine, okay? So they're really transforming. I think that they've transformed more than you realize, but I also think that with this foggy glasses, I think it's a two-way thing. I think, the foggy glasses came. I'm not sure if that was in the part. So yeah, foggy glasses, so not seeing things clearly. I think you haven't been able to see things clearly because you haven't had the full truth, but I think, there's been a lot of negativity as a result of that, like clouding your judgment, right? So because you had to kind of almost like give yourself closure to make sense of the situation that didn't make sense, right? So there's been a lack of clarity and you've been confused, but this is where I think that you've had to really zone in on yourself and learn how to zone in on where you want to go, where your forward vision is, right? Instead of relying on whoever and whatever this is. And I think that as for the masculine energy, I think this is, they're going to, they've been finding out some stuff. The light bulb came out, and this is like enlightenments. They've been having breakthroughs, realizations, illuminations. And if you're both really deeply connected on that energetic level, then I think that's because you've been focusing, this feminine energy has been focusing back in on herself, right? Giving less kind of need for this external validation and constantly chasing outside of her. This is allowing somebody's room to really find their own epiphanies now, to see what's happening truly in their life as well. And it's happening, okay? This helm, they're charting their own course. Yeah, they're learning how to steer clear of what is just so out of alignment because they've had way too much of that going on, okay? So you're going to start feeling more in control. So not like excessive control where you're not allowing yourself to surrender to your divine alignment and the divine involved, but more you feeling more self-determined, knowing what's worth fighting for, remember, right? So knowing where you want to go, becoming more masterful in that direction. You're becoming way more skillful. You're going to be exploring more. You're going to feel so much more free once these strings that are attached are released. And again, I think that's like this internal thing, the story that you're telling yourself, whatever it is, okay? But also we had the beautiful Celtic knot at the bottom of the deck, then we had the heart underneath that, then we had the woman underneath that. Okay, now I've just seen we've got the anvil and the diamond ring. So this is someone who wants to take the right, purposeful, determined action, and they're going to when the time is right. Okay, so that's that next level. But they're learning how to chart their own course right now, away from what they've been taught they need to be, how they need to do things, and all that kind of stuff. Once they get themselves right in that specific like energy with themselves, they can truly come through and like try to like hold it down for this, whatever this is, because they're going to need to speak their truth. And then I did some romance angels just for the sake of the connection that's coming through. So with the beautiful romantic feelings, your feelings are real and worth exploring. I didn't mention, actually, we also had the anchor and the snowflake, really important. Someone's persevering, there's willpower here. I think this is both of you match that energy. You're both within you. You have a lot of endurance, long-lasting, persistent, okay? For a long time, you felt restrained by your own internal emotion. And that's what's clearing. You're learning how to handle yourself with care. You're learning that you are one of a kind and you deserve to be treated as such. Father wounds, you haven't learned how to handle your emotions. You haven't had safety to do that. You're creating that for yourself now, right? No longer being frozen when it comes to emotion. There's a transition taking place right now, a change of state, okay? And it's time to be really clear and precise, especially when it comes to these conversations, because we also had the beautiful heart swap conversations here confirming what's been coming through. So you're going to be having honestly discussing your feelings with each other, okay? And that's going to be by you creating that safe space to do that. Yeah, and I think that you're more at that space now, which is why it's coming in at the right time, because you're able to, instead of being triggered and taking things so personally, you're able to hold space for others and their journey. And because you've been focusing on finding, clearing through what's happening within you, you're going to be able to allow yourself to say, you know what, I need some time to reflect on what's coming through here, what the truth is here, so I can allow myself to see what is happening within me, the shifts that are taking place with this truth that is now being revealed to me, right? And that is what's creating the foundation for you both to feel like you can be honest about your feelings, okay, which is beautiful. Calling in your soulmate, at this that magician that came through had this message come through that this is somebody who very likely is almost like envisioning the conversations taking place so that they go in the way that they want them to. Really interesting. Then we had trust, okay, but before that we had flirt, and that came out, I just intuitively, I suppose, put it on guard, and that's like playing the field sometimes. So there's still this energy lingering. Someone needs to be mindful of their flirty energy, especially if it's very easy for them to magnetize and attract to them. They need to be very mindful. They have radiant energy. Where do you want to like direct that? Okay, that can get them in trouble, I've heard in the past. Okay, that's where I'm also seeing this crossroads. You're going to have multiple choices. They need to be really, really mindful of how they're making decisions. That's just such a pivotal moment. It's the smallest thing here. Be mindful of where you're being tempted right now, or just pulled away, even if it doesn't feel like a temptation. Sometimes it just feels like, having a laugh or fun, whatever. That's, the Emperor came out there. He's in reverse. It's time to put him upright and like stay in your like, I'm hearing integrity and discipline and like what maturity, truly trust. Beautiful. This situation is calling for you to have faith, okay? I just want to make sure you're just using your discernment for this reading as well, okay? And the signs that are coming through, they resonate with you, so you know this reading is for you, because otherwise some people leave some unnecessary comments, okay? But if it is for you, let me know, comment and let me know, okay? There's going to be some forgiving and learning taking place, okay? So I think this is also someone's really forgiving and learning their upbringing, and maybe it's a two-way thing, the father wounds that were coming through. And it's going to allow you both to decide, and that's where that reflection is going to come through, deciding how you want to move forward, because there will be some forgiveness needed here, because this just felt like it was left in all of that confusion. I just wanted to get some timings for you. This first card that came through again was the Moon, the High Priestess, intuition, inner knowing, silence, secrets. There is silence right now. There are what feels like secrets, right? But I also feel like your mental clarity is on point. It's too many cards. Oh my God, too many cards. That's the Emperor at the top there. Whoa. Yeah, he's going through a transition, that's for sure. That was death again. Okay, so the intuition is becoming more clear as these veils of illusion are lifting, and it's not about each other, it's about whatever the veil of illusion was within yourself. Taurus energy could be important here in springtime. Okay, let's see if there's any more about timing. I think there's going to be so much change from now to the next Taurus season. Autumn time, okay, so within 3 to 6 months, Scorpio energy is coming through again. Oh my God, Pisces, the moon. Can we get any more clear? If you're watching this at the time of this lunar eclipse, that is tomorrow actually, in Pisces, then this is like huge. This is clearly a very current reading. But if you're not, then that is a big sign. Pisces, intuition, mysticism that was coming through, that Neptune energy, okay? Deception, anxiety, fear, blocked intuition. You need to clear your energy. And I think it has a lot to do with that confusion, the stories you're telling yourself, and even if there's stuff that you know for fact, that you knew when you were in contact with each other, there's something about releasing that. No longer holding onto it and holding it against anyone, because it's creating your blocked intuition. Capricorn energy again, okay? So winter time as well, so autumn to winter to spring, going to be huge changes, progress. There's going to be clearing of this anxiety, these secrets, right? There's a lot of fear here that someone's really blocking someone. It has been blocking someone. Oh my God, beautiful. Jupiter, Wheel of Fortune, Sagittarius energy. Expansion, there's a turning point. There's growth, there's destiny. Again, that confirmation about that growth, the aging well, and that's abundant. Venus, Empress at the bottom of the deck, okay? Wow, then they got the Virgo energy there as well. This is like a huge moment of clarity that's going to be coming through for the cycle that turns. As the cycles turn, it's going to take a very different shift, right? And in a much more abundant way. And this is going to be all down to how you now decide to handle the situation moving forwards. Really tap into that intuition right now. Find clarity. Where are you telling yourself these stories? I'm going to get some message cards from your person, okay? from your person to you. Message cards. Clarity is coming though. Okay, number 3. We are alchemists. We transform fear into love and shadow into light. And that's what's happening. That's why it's such a deep internal process where you're feeling so deeply internally. You have such depth of emotion, ability to access that. It's for a reason. You're alchemists. It's not just yourselves that you're alchemizing for. It's literally everything you're connected to. Number 11, a communication card. So it's kind of like you focus. You're beginning to learn how to focus on your mission more. When we're talking, things just come out of my mouth, and afterwards I'm not even sure why I said them. This is why, when it comes to those heart-to-heart conversations and someone wanting to set the record straight, it's a big deal for them. It's a really big deal. I think they really want to do this. They don't want you to be in confusion. I think they didn't realize for a long time that you were in confusion. 3 again, union card. The same divine energy flows in both of us, each of us. This energy is a catalyst to our reunion. We just need to allow this energy to work its magic. Yeah. That's another thing to remember. You know, with that 4 of Wands, celebrating union, that card came out. You need mental clarity to clear through and reach that stage. And that's what's happening right now. That clarity. And it's also going to happen with you coming together. Just like it. Can you see that card? Number 11 again. 11, 11, 3, 3. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Our connection to source is the love and healing we require for our union. Connect to divine more deeply than ever. Right now, connect to divine. Oh my God, that's karmic ties, and it's giving like family energy. More than ever, connect to divine. 11, 11, and 3, 3 are really important. So if you feel like you're falling off or you're just not sure what's happening, whether it's prayer, whatever it is that works for you, okay? Connecting to divine on a higher level from that heart space, okay? Another mission card. We incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodlines. Again, family. Family is huge in this. Number 8. Lots of generational cycles. Time to heal them and clear them. Massive, especially for this masculine energy. I really feel that. Another union card. Let's come out into that as well. Number 9. Union is an energy, not a physical construct. Even when we aren't together, I feel our union. That's why it's that energy of mental clarity. You're celebrating union inside your mind. You're understanding it better. That's beautiful. 8 again. 8, 8. Okay, union card again. Wow. I feel the chemistry between us. We need to trust that the energy we share will bring us back together again. There's so much here about we are coming back to we are already one. We are coming back together. This is close to like beautiful, that 4 of Wands and that 10 of Coins. But it's literally these bits of finding clarity. That's why these heart-to-heart conversations are wanting to come through. Because I think that you're both ready to have them. Another communication card, just as I said that as well. Number 1. 111. I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can say the right things to you. I think you both want to have the conversations, but it's about being in the right space to receive each other. You know, knowing that there's triggers sometimes that come up and observing yourself and, you know, holding space for each other in that. Telepathic messages. Number 5. I feel you pulling away and it triggers my fears that you'll leave me for good. Number 3 again, need you to trust me and believe I'm working towards union with you. There's so much here about hope. Out of all these like cards in here, these specifically to come out, there's so much in here about needing to hold faith right now. So there is a reconciliation in the cards, right? It's going to have a lot of forgiveness. It's going to need a lot of clarity conversations coming through as well, I usually like to call them. And you're going to find so much more clarity, both of you, clarity within yourselves. But what you're also going to realize is actually how much clarity you've brought yourself already, because you've been finding that alignment within you, this beautiful heart and mind, right? That emotional wisdom. You're going to be able to receive each other from a much more mature space. I'm talking internally on an emotional level, which is going to create a new cycle here with these rings to come through. You're really going to honor this internal enduring love. Okay, and I think, you know, don't forget that masculine, divine masculine energy wants to take the lead. They want to be the one who, because they're the one who grounds it in the physical. Don't forget that, right? So it's kind of like allowing them to do that, right? But that means you have to trust, you have to have faith, you have to get in that space where you are ready to forgive. Not just because you want things to work in the same way, because you deeply feel it within you. You deeply feel ready. You don't even need this anymore. Do you know what I mean? But you know that what's right, it feels right, and you know how to handle that. You know when to say yes, you know when to trust in divine. Connecting to the divine is so important right now. That's also going to help you find more clarity. Silence, remember that stillness that I was talking about. When the answers come through, connect with the divine through that. Okay, from the heart space, highest love. Okay, highest good. So I just wanted to super quickly get some animal cards. I got animal card for the divine masculine, got the phoenix, talk about transformation. That's like triple confirmation now, that death card. There's such a transformation, death and rebirth. Number 24, immortal, catalytic heart awakening, rising up from the ashes, total transformation, complete renewal. Their past self, and even who you knew them as, completely not who they are anymore. They're really going through those fires. And for the divine feminine, we have the beautiful hour, number 16, owl, seeing through the facade. You have already been lifting through the veils. Now it's time to understand this one. Allow someone to be who they're becoming, okay? Wise, aware, observant. You're so that mystic, truly. And I feel like the masculine has felt like a misfit, even though they've tried to fit into that 3D construct. Secrets are being lifted. Oh my God, secrets are lifted. You know already what's going on. Insights, you know what's going on. Oh, exploring the unknown. You're a mystic. You also had number 8, beaver. So things have been working against you, but again, persistence. Your persistence is paying off, right? New things are on the horizon. You're determined. You're making your dreams real. Things might feel a bit repetitive right now, but I also feel like you're understanding more about routine and where to honor your rituals. That was coming through before, that ritual energy. And for the connection, we had the squirrel and the crow. Okay, so number 18. Again, secretive. They could be prepared, okay, because you've had miscommunication in the past, and this isn't about scolding each other and holding anything against each other. So be mindful of that, because there's been a lot of secretive energy here. So there's so much unsaid, so much unspoken. You also have the crow, so there's memories. You're both remembering, okay. Magical power. You're both so magical, and together, there's going to be a new event happening soon, and it's going to be the problem solver, whatever it is. These conversations are going to really solve so much, okay. Be observant. You're both very observant, and your connection, it's just so powerful. Again, there could be a distant here, and you could be moving as well, moving forwards. And it says faithful there. I think that you're both quite faithful, but this energy has needed to clear through, and you need to find that clarity, and those conversations are coming, okay? Hold faith, stay in your light. Let me know if this message was for you. Sending love.